Ready? All right. Good early evening, afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us at our meeting today on August 6th, 2024. And we are starting with the successor agency to the Norwalk development. And can I get a roll call, please, Teresa?
Agency members Perez,
Here.
Ramirez,
Here.
Valencia,
Here.
Vice Chair Aella,
Here.
and Chair Rios.
Here. We have one item consent calendar. To have a motion in a second?
Move it.
Second.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Agency members Perez,
Aye.
Ramirez,
Aye.
Valencia,
Aye.
Vice Chair Aella,
Aye.
Chair Rios.
Aye. Reports, item number 2 is resolution number SA 24-02, authorizing the transfer of a property, 12710 Norwalk Boulevard pursuant to the long-range property management. And do we have a staff report?
Yes, Chair Rios and members of City Council, Ms. Yana Stewart will present.
Thank you, Mr. Gomez. Chair Rios, members of the board. The item in front of you is the winding down of the activities of a property of the former redevelopment agency, acting as a successor agency to the redevelopment. As you may recall, in 2011, state approved the Dissolution Act to end redevelopment agencies in California. And our redevelopment successor agency to redevelopment agency is paying the remaining obligations of the former redevelopment agency. And also in 2014, we were approved to our long-range property management plan to dispose of all the properties that former RDA owned. One of the last properties that we still have under successor agency is just, Judge's parking parcel located on 710 Norwalk Boulevard. On the screen, you can see it on the red border. It's adjacent to the county courthouse, next to the city hall, and that's the property that we are going to ask your approval to submit the transfer to the city of Norwalk. This is something that was approved by Department of Finance, and in their letter dated April 5th, 2024, they instructed us to transfer the property to the city, and the city also needs to negotiate with Los Angeles County to convey the property to them with the option to exchange other properties, and that will be the item that will come before you at a later date. So what our next steps are, really the successor agency needs to approve the resolution 24-02, and also on the city council agenda on the consent calendar item 13, you will see the similar item. Rather than transferring, it will be city accepting the property from the successor agency. We also are scheduled for approval by the Oversight Board, which is County of Los Angeles 4th District Consolidated Oversight Board, and we are on the agenda for August 20th. And once that's approved, we can proceed with the official transfer of the property. And that pretty much concludes our report tonight. And recommended actions are in front of you. A major approval is adopting resolution number successor SA 24-02 and related items listed on the screen. And that concludes my report. We are here to answer any questions you may have.
Are there any questions from staff? Okay, I'll go ahead and move the item.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Agency members Perez,
Aye.
Ramirez,
Aye.
Valencia,
Aye.
Vice Chair Aella,
Aye.
Chair Rios.
Aye. Is there an executive director's report?
Not tonight. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you,
Rios.
Chris. Oral communications, Teresa. Anybody wishing to speak? Okay, with that, we'll go ahead and adjourn the successor agency development meeting portion of this meeting, and we will proceed next with our regularly scheduled council meeting in just a second here. All right, welcome again, everyone, to our regularly scheduled meeting this day, August 6th of 2024. And I'd like to ask Teresa to do a roll call, please.
Council members Perez,
Here.
Ramirez,
Here.
Valencia,
Here.
Vice Mayor Aella,
Here.
Mayor Rios.
Here. Okay, tonight we have the honor of welcoming for our invocation Danny Casas of Remnant Church. If you can please come up to the podium, sir. Pastor Danny Casas has been serving the community of Norwalk since 2017. He has been a pastor for 17 years. He was born in Downey, but his greatest joy in ministry is serving the Norwalk community and the church. Pastor Casas has been married for 21 years. Together they have 5 children. On his spare time, his hobbies include writing books. The story of how his church started in Hermosillo Park was narrated in one of his books entitled Dripping with Favor. Recently, Pastor Casas participated in a project where he and his church helped provide over 150 brand new tables and 2 years of free internet to the Norwalk Senior Center. Thank you, Pastor. Thank you for coming today and joining us. I'd love to hear more about your story from Hermosillo Park. Before this evening, whenever you're ready, we're privileged to have you lead us in the invocation.
Thank you so much. And I wanted to clarify, I worked on a tablet disbursement with MCS for the tablets to the senior community here in Norwalk. Thank you. Yes. Yes, with the Los Angeles County. Thank you. If we could bow our heads. Most Holy Father, thank you for your favor upon Norwalk. Thank you for all that you've done. We pray for your peace and prosperity over every department represented here, and also for law enforcement, for the senior community, for our youth who are going back to school, for our teachers, our EMTs, first responders. We also pray, Lord, for every single new business being started and nonprofit. We pray for your leading and for your will to be done. And we also pray for your protection upon every student going back to school. We pray for tonight's meeting that you would be glorified and you would be honored. And all this we ask in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen.
Okay, here we go. Let us continue. So next we have the pledge. And I'd like to ask Young Marine Sergeant Melanie Alvarez to come to the podium. And allow me to share a little bit about you, okay? Young Marine Sergeant Melanie Alvarez is an 11th grader at St. Anthony Catholic College Preparatory. Her favorite part about Norwalk is the community's care for its residents, including the joy and willingness of its recreational volunteers. Young Marine Sergeant Alvarez is in the Young Marines to help and guide those around her. She aims to strengthen and support kids in the community as they work to achieve their goals. She is motivated by seeing them grow into their best selves. Young Marine Sergeant Alvarez aspires to study medicine and become a neurosurgeon, with hopes of attending Johns Hopkins School of Medicine. In her free time, she enjoys outdoor activities and has won championships in a variety of sports, including soccer, volleyball, basketball, and swimming. She also received the Young Marine of the Year award in 2022 and the Silver Award with the Girl Scouts. Thank you for being here, Young Marine Sergeant Alvarez. It's an honor to have you here present. And whenever you are ready, please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Might please ask everybody to remove any covers. Put your right hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sergeant? Thank you. Come on up right over here. Very nice to meet you. Okay, so today I just want to present the certificate of recognition to you, Young Marine Sergeant Melanie Alvarez. On behalf of the City of Norwalk, thank you for reciting the Pledge of Allegiance during our August 6, 2024 City Council meeting. Your leadership and courage makes our community a better place. And I can say so much more, but as I shared, I know that you're an aspiring leader, a leader today, and something that the City of Norwalk looks forward to seeing as you grow even more into that leadership role. You're welcome. Okay, roll call, please. We did the roll. Where am I at? Oh, I'm sorry. I needed to move forward here. Okay, here we go. All right. Okay, closed session report.
Yes, thank you very much, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council. This evening,
Yeah.
the record should reflect the City Council recessed into closed session on items 1 through 4. Prior to recessing into closed session, those items were announced in open session for discussion in closed session. And the following is my report. On each of these items, 1 through 4, the entire City Council was present in closed session. A briefing was provided to the City Council on those various matters, but there was no final action taken to any one of those 4 items, and there is nothing further to report at this time. Madam Mayor, that concludes my report from closed session. It's appropriate to continue with the open portion of the meeting.
Okay, thank you so much, and we will proceed with city council comments. Let's begin today with Councilmember Rick Ramirez.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just want to welcome everyone to our meeting. Excuse me. Nothing further to report.
Welcome back to you, Rick. Councilmember Ana Valencia.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right. Thank you all for joining us tonight. And I'm going to just mention a couple of things that myself and a few of our colleagues did. I want to congratulate Norma Amesqua. She's a school board member for Norwalk La Mirada. She is our new, it's my turn, Rick. Wow. Yeah, I got something in my throat. Norwalk Lions Club president. So I want to congratulate her. I was at her installation last on Wednesday, July 17th. Very nicely attended event, Hawaiian style lua, and at Bruce's. And then on Wednesday, July 31st, we had our summer concert and our national night out. Great event. Lots of wonderful services, resources there. And of course, the band was really good. Thursday, August 1st, we were able to participate in the Norwalk Transit's 50th anniversary. Congratulations to the Norwalk Transportation team, our department. We're very proud, and it was a wonderful event. Thank you, Mr. Jim Parker, our director. Also, that day, later on that evening, the Southeast Water Coalition is currently now hosted by the city of Norwalk, and I am the chairperson now because I represent our city in that committee, as well as Mr. Glenn Cow is the lead. It was a very well attended meeting. We had it at the Sproul Room. Everything went well. We had a couple of things on our agenda to discuss, but it was just a pleasure to host the CWAC, and we're going to be having our meetings here every 2 months is when we have them. So. Friday, August 2nd, the Milagro Theater grand opening was wonderful. It was very well attended, even though it was in the middle of the day on a Friday. Lots of people, media. Of course, our mayor did a great job in being there and and really speaking about the support that we have for them. And it was just great. We also got to enjoy some popcorn and a free movie. I got to finally watch that Wolverine and, ¿cómo se llama the other one? Deadpool. Yeah, a lot of talk. But it was good. It was, it was a good event. I enjoyed it. Saturday, August 3rd, back to school backpacks and supplies, once again by Ellie Cares over at our Norwalk Town Square. A wonderful event. They outdid themselves. Now, it was one of the hottest days ever out there, but they had the fans with the misters going. I saw the mayor there as well. And I love standing there giving out backpacks and the resources to the kids. It was fantastic. They had the rock climbing. They had a target thing where you threw the ball and then it got stuck into the bullseyes and stuff. That was a lot of fun. The kids really enjoyed it. And we got some cut up fruit that was there that they distributed. Really nice. And of course, the smiles on the kids' faces, priceless. Monday, August 5th, Milagro Theater did a commendation presentation to artist Robert Vargas, and our mayor was there as well, and it was wonderful to hear the artist, Robert Vargas speak on what inspires him, and also the owner of Milagro Theater, Moctezuma Esparza, how he and the artist Robert Vargas had conversations. They talked in order to bring that mural to life. It was wonderful, and it just reminded me of my time with my father as well. I didn't grow up with him all the time, but I like Moctezuma Esparza and Robert Vargas. We would see our fathers every now and then, and one of the things that we would do is go to the movies as well, and then discuss the movie and just have conversations. It was really nice. It brought back memories as well. One of the things that I'd like to point out is an upcoming special event. Lots of really good events coming up. But this one is the Teachers Association of Norwalk La Mirada, as well as the Norwalk La Mirada School District, Caring Beyond the Classroom, and supplies and book backpacks to be given out at John Glenn High School. And that, I think, begins at 8 a.m. this Saturday. So I'm hoping that we pass the word along. You can never have too many backpacks and book supplies, school supplies. So, just to get prepared. And I want to wish all of our students and teachers, administrators, staff that are going to be starting up again the school year a very happy back to school, and I hope that everything works really well and that everybody is happy with their positions, with their schools, and with the students. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Councilmember Jennifer Perez.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. I want to give a huge shout out to Jim Parker. Happy 50th. Thank you for an amazing celebration. It was great to have the flashback and the videos, and I can't wait to see that shared on our social media so our community can see that as well. The Norwalk Now is out. Make sure you get a copy. Lots of amazing information on there. And it's been a while since we had a meeting, but our bulletins are out for all of our services, social services, the senior center, our youth, everything. Make sure you grab those bulletins so you are aware of what's going on in the city of Norwalk. I do have a few things that I wanted to report out on. I did have a meeting with the Professional Peace Officers Association, the POPA, just to show our continued support for our law enforcement. I did attend our Joint Power Insurance Authority annual meeting a couple weeks ago, representing the city of Norwalk. I do sit on the Coast Plaza Hospital Board of Directors, and they are continuing to improve their hospital. It's a hospital here in the city of Norwalk off of Studebaker Road, and they are continuing to broaden their services to their patients. Gabby, I wanted to let you know they are getting ready to open, so they will continue to reach out to you to provide services for those less unfortunate. I did attend a briefing in regards to homelessness with Sheriff Luna a couple weeks ago, and he continued to stress the partnership that he has not only with our Sheriff's Department, but with our cities in ensuring that the cities are properly protected. Last week, I did go to the Board of Supervisors weekly meeting, which was absolutely amazing, and got to speak on behalf not only of the city of Norwalk, but California contract cities to really prove that we as organizations, municipalities are doing our part when it comes to homelessness, and we will continue to do so. Again, congratulations, Jim, on the 50th. And over the weekend on Saturday, myself and along with 17 other elected officials from California contract cities that we serve on the executive board, we had a planning session really laying out our priorities for the year when it comes to local control and legislation that will directly affect our cities. So it's been a busy couple weeks. I want to remind everybody that we do have a concert tomorrow on the lawn, but we also have the Norwalk Chamber of Commerce Business Expo, where you're going to get a chance to meet a lot of our businesses and our nonprofit organizations that are here supporting all of us in the city of Norwalk. So if you do not have anything to do tomorrow, come down early. The Business Expo starts around 4:30, 5 o'clock right here on City Hall lawn, and it'll run right into our concert for the city of Norwalk. I hope you all have a great evening. Good luck to all of our students. I'm so old that I remember when we started school after Labor Day. So I just have to put that out there. I hope your classrooms have air conditioning, drink lots of water, stay hydrated, and have a great evening, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Rick Ramirez. Did you?
Yeah, I just had a few more comments. Again, welcome everyone to our meeting. I had an opportunity to represent the Norwalk, city of Norwalk at our LA County Sanitation District that we talk about everything trash and sanitation and sewer. So it's eye-opening. If you want to know more about it, let me know. I can kind of direct you to the website there to learn about how sanitation works in LA County. We just recently, yesterday, we had the groundbreaking ceremony at the the Firestone Bridge widening project, right? It's a long overdue public works project that I think the residents would be happy to see that we're putting your tax dollars to work in improving our roadways. If you guys are familiar, it's the corridor between Orenday, Firestone to Studebaker, the bridge. I want to commend our team, our public works team, our engineers, our administration, and our staff for moving forward that project. Also today, I had an opportunity to attend our neighboring city, city of Santa Fe Springs. They had their newly renovated aquatic center open up today. It was a little funny today. They had at the close of the ceremony, all the council members jumped into the pool.
What?
Yep, the mayor did a backflip off the high dive. I'm sure there'll probably be some highlights in the city of Santa Fe Springs. But yeah, they all got into the pool and the deep end, by the way, and the deep end. And you know, Mr. Sarno, he's not that tall of a guy, but he could swim. He's a swimmer. So I went today to represent the city of Norwalk, and it was great to see the partnership that we have with our neighboring cities. All of them. So other than that, that's all I have, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Vice Mayor Aella?
Yeah, I'd like to welcome a couple dear friends. Lisa Vernola Salas, please wave your arm. And Sylvia Flores. I'm going to appoint her tonight as a commissioner, but she is former member of the Planning Commission, former chairman of the Planning Commission, former International Friendship Commission member, former chair as well. And so we welcome you. I know it's been a while since you've been here, so I'm glad we were able to take you out of retirement. You know, it's funny, we're talking about the 50th anniversary of transit and stuff, and you know, when you see the buses and you see everything has become so, high tech and stuff, it's pretty amazing. But it was one of those things where 50 years ago, a councilman, well, prior to that, because obviously it didn't happen overnight, but a couple years prior to that, a councilman, John Zimmerman, whose wife served on the council later after he had passed, but he had an idea about this transit system to serve Norwalk, and he was able to translate that into a system such as it was, because it was very rudimentary, very simple. But what I noticed in my neighborhood is it caused people that ordinarily would take a car to use public transportation to go to Norwalk Square and different places in town. And it was a breakthrough because this was like the middle 70s. People weren't really thinking about public transportation. So, I mean, from the time that started, it really started shifting the culture about how residents would look at public transportation. Like I said, it was a councilman that talked to his colleagues and said, hey, let's do this. And it happened. And what's remarkable is that the same year, we opened the Social Service Center. So those two things in the same year, sometimes, these council people that served 40, 50 years ago, nobody even remembers their names. But, they make significant, contributions, and that's what everybody's here to do. Nobody runs for council to be famous. They run for council to make a difference. To make a difference. No, not because they're crazy, Jerry. Anyway, that's what it made me think of. I mean, Roger Momotz was a close friend of mine. Was the first director Mr. Jackson? Yeah, because I go back too. When I was a student intern, I spent time with Mr. Jackson with Roger Momers. That was back when transit was still in Quonset huts over there before Jim got that beautiful building built for us. So anyway, just nostalgic about that because I know the history, right? And I wanted to thank Public Safety and the Hope team. I know some of my neighbors had talked to me about noticing homeless people in that intersection around Studebaker and Alondra, and they came in and they were able to provide services to some, and and direct other ones to move on, but it was successful. And I think what it got across to my neighbors is, if you ask, if you say something, we want to do a great job, we will respond to it. If sometimes we don't know about it or whatever, but if we know, we're going to do our best to do something. So thank you, Ozzy, and all your troops, Hope Team, and whatnot. Last item is for any seniors out there that are listening, what you really have to make it a point to do is to go down and see or participate in the Lobby Olympics at the Senior Center. 10 o'clock tomorrow, 10 o'clock on Friday. I think closing ceremonies on Friday, right? I mean, it's a blast. I mean, I go just watch because everybody's into it, and you have all these agility things that, I mean, it's really impressive. But it's really impressive that every Olympics that you guys do this, and you make it a big deal. It's fun, and so good job on that. And so if you have the opportunity, go down and check it out. That's it, Mayor.
Thank you, Tony. Again, I want to welcome everyone to our meeting. Really excited to see all of you. I know we have a nice group here of a mix of residents, commissioners, our staff, obviously parents, our youth. Great to see that group there of our youth in the audience here joining us today. Thank you all for being here. A lot was talked about, a lot of the events, exciting times that have been happening here this summer. We've been extremely busy with a lot of good stuff. I do want to mention Milagro Cinema at 13917 Pioneer Boulevard, which is at the Norwalk Square. It's really been an amazing weekend, welcoming not just another business, but welcoming Milagro Cinema to the theater. I don't know how many of you actually remember the theater before. I know I used to take my sons there when they were young teenagers, and so the theater was there for quite a while. It had definitely seen better days, and then it's been closed for the last few years. And so I really appreciate Moctezuma Esparza, who now took over the property and introduced Milagro Cinemas to our community. And he's actually here joining us today. So Moctezuma, thank you for being here. And thank you for coming to the city of Norwalk. Yes. I hope some of you or all of you will take the opportunity to, do a little Google search and really read about the significance of why it matters and why it's so just exciting that we have Moctezuma Esparza here, who decided to come to the city of Norwalk. It is the only Latino-owned and operated cinema in LA County that we can claim is here in the city of Norwalk. And so, but it's a theater, it's a cinema that's open to all. And that's why I really encourage you to go and have that experience, because when you walk in, it's a very personal experience. It's kind of like you're being welcomed by family, and the theater is completely new. Everything from door to door, wall to wall, ground to ceiling is new. And so this weekend, Milagro Cinema was gracious enough to open it up to the entire community to celebrate with them. We had, as was mentioned, world-renowned artist Robert Vargas, who did a mural at the location. We had Yvette Marino, who, if you don't know, was a producer on the movie Encanto. So that was really big. She joined us on Sunday for free showing for families and children. She's a Norwalk native. Her parents are still here in the city of Norwalk, so she was there signing lithographs, for the children and everyone in attendance, and there was free popcorn for the kids, and they watched a free movie, and so that was really special. And then yesterday, we were able to honor Robert Vargas with a commendation on behalf of the entire city council to recognize his contribution of the arts to our city. Because as you all know, and I'm sure you've heard, we in the city of Norwalk, we value, recognize, and celebrate the arts. Along as a special guest yesterday, the actor, known, very popular actor, Edward James Olmos, came to Norwalk. We had Edward James Olmos in Norwalk. I was like, wow, that was really cool. So I just, and we've had so much media attention and coverage, and it's all been positive for the city of Norwalk. It's all been positive about our community. And so that's what really pumps me up. Like, I'm so excited that it's all good for the community. So that really, it's been good. Very, very good. Brick mentioned the Firestone Bridge. That's going to be another exciting improvement. We ask, obviously, that everyone to be patient and safe during this process, but in the end, it's going to totally transform that area. Yesterday, after the event at Milagros Cinemas, I did attend a public safety meeting on Elmcroft. Thank you, Mr. Ramos and your team, and Quadrant Officer Ortiz, who was there. The residents were very grateful, and we left them with a little bit of homework, right, Mr. Ramos? So, but the takeaway is that the residents ask, they come forward, we meet them where they're at, in their neighborhood. So that was fun to meet some new neighbors. Also over the weekend, the Norwalk Santa Fe Springs Saints had their opening ceremony at Little Lake. So that was neat to go out and support the cheerleaders and the excited football players, the youth there. Also over the weekend, we had the Back to School Resource Fair, as Anna mentioned, at the Norwalk Community Resource Center. If you have not been to the Community Resource Center in Norwalk, it's also in the Norwalk Square. They offer so many free and valuable services for the community. You can take free yoga lessons, you can go learn about technology. They're all about health and wellness, which is the big one there, is they are about healthy communities. So you go and you learn about nutrition. If you're, have a family member or yourself is, dealing with maybe diabetes, they want to educate you so that you live a long, healthy, fun life. And their services are free. Those of you that like yoga or Zumba, free. So it's, again, a really, really neat resource that we have here. And their event, this was their third year event. And this year, they gave 1,500 backpacks to our community, to our students here in the city of Norwalk. And they welcome everyone, but obviously, they focus on the city of Norwalk and the residents, but it's completely open. 1,500 backpacks, getting the kids ready for school. They had live music, they had entertainment, they had the Long Beach Aquarium came and set up one of those aquarium exhibits where, the kids can go kind of hands-on and touch some of the sea life. So that was really cool. So thank you, Norwalk Community Resource Center, for being a good community partner. I also want to mention just a few more things. Over the last couple of weeks, I've been able to host 2 meetings that I want to mention. One of them is specific to a cooling center here in the city of Norwalk. And fortunately, I got good news from our city manager today that we're able to move forward with this initiative of adding a location in the city of Norwalk that'll serve as a cooling center. As we know, the heat has been, right? And so we know that there are vulnerable residents in our community that can, they need a break from the heat because of different maybe illnesses or age related. So I want to thank Gabby and Bethany for joining me in that meeting and getting the work going. You know, making sure that we you know we engage in this partnership that reached out to us, and let's do this for our city. So thank you, Jesus. Thank you for all your work on that. Another meeting that I hosted, also thank you, Gabby and Bethany, is I hosted a meeting with TAY. The program is Transitional Age Youth, and that is a Norwalk foster. I mean, it's a foster youth program that focuses on ages 18 to 24, and it helps them with housing and education and training and jobs with the specific intent that they be self-sufficient at the end of a certain time period. So they enter the program, they sign up, they say, we're going to take classes, I'm going to get certificated and get my AA, or they're going to help me with employment, ultimately wanting to be self-sufficient. And the great thing about it is it's great, but there's a couple of things that I wanted to mention is that it's a voucher program. It's by DCFS, and so they will provide the wraparound services, the case management. What we will do is we will refer them youth in the city of Norwalk that are struggling with housing insecurity. So that was great. Again, another partnership, and I want to thank the team for coming to the meetings with me and taking on, the task to get some good stuff happening. So thank you both ladies very, very much. And the last thing I'll share is we had a very productive meeting. The city manager and I. It was city manager and mayor's Caltrans roundtable. It was hosted by the city of Santa Fe Springs, which they did very great hosts. And we had Caltrans directors, the VIPs, the people at the top who we were able to be, face to face with. We had a very great agenda to discuss, the Caltrans properties, the cleanliness of our highways, our streets, some of the, again, dealing with the individuals suffering housing insecurity along the highways and freeways. And I actually took the opportunity because they talked about the efforts that they're doing to help us keep Caltrans properties clean, the parcels clean. And we know it's kind of a hit and miss. I mean, it's something they need to stay on very regularly and consistently. And we get those complaints, the overgrown vegetation, etc. So I took the opportunity and I invited the Caltrans director. I said, I would love to host you. Come to the city of Norwalk so you can see what we see, so you can see what our residents see. So they took me up on that. And thank you to our city manager, Jesus, he's going to coordinate that walk. What do we call it? The walk, a walking tour. We're taking the Caltrans director on a walking tour of the beautiful city of Norwalk. Okay, thank you for allowing me to share all of that. Yes.
Mayor, if I can just add really quickly, I've been notified by some of our residents that watch our council meetings via Frontier that there may be an issue on the Frontier side. If you are able and still want to watch our council meeting, you can do so on our YouTube link. So you can go to YouTube and search City of Norwalk. It's also live on Facebook, just for those that are watching the meeting on cable.
They can also access it from the city's website as well.
Thank you, Teresa.
Thank you, Jennifer. That's important. I do want to share that on Saturday, August 10th, Troy and Bob's Auto Works is hosting the public for their 80th anniversary open house. 80 years in business in the city of Norwalk. They are at 15940 Pioneer Boulevard and from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. 80 years of business here in the city of Norwalk. That's pretty commendable. Thank you, Anna. Okay, we're now going to proceed with our special presentations, and we are excited today to recognize Norwalk High School student athlete Mireille. Did I pronounce that right? Mireille Sanchez for competing in the 2024 USA Volleyball National Tournament. Yay! So, Mire, if you'll allow me to share a little bit about you, thank you. Super excited. Tonight we have the distinct honor of recognizing Mire Sanchez, a dedicated student athlete from Norwalk High School. She has not only excelled on her high school varsity volleyball team, but has also achieved remarkable success on a national level. Recently, Mire competed in the 2024 USA Volleyball National Tournament, where she and her Seal Beach Volleyball Club placed first in the highly competitive age division of 15-year-olds. Wow, let's give her a round of applause. This incredible accomplishment showcases your dedication, your skill, and hard work. Mire has made a significant impact on her high school volleyball team. Last year, she led her team to the 2023 CIF quarterfinals, demonstrating her leadership and talent on the court. As a freshman, she earned the prestigious Offensive Player of the Year award, a testament to your outstanding performance and contribution to your team. Young individuals like you remind us of the potential and talent that resides within our city. She hopes to inspire and motivate other young females in the Norwalk community to develop a passion for volleyball. Mire, congratulations, and please accept this recognition of you, your leadership, your skill, your athleticism, your contributions to the city of Norwalk. Thank you for, again, putting the city of Norwalk on the map. Thank you. Would you like to share something for us, with us? Whatever. We're talk to us.
Ever since I started volleyball, probably 4 years ago, it's been a fun experience for me playing at 12 and leading into 16 Blacks, the #1 team for my club team, Seal Beach. It's fun getting to play with a new team, even though it was hard leaving different clubs, having to meet new people. But the funnest part is meeting new companions, competing with them, reaching higher levels, new titles. And I can't wait to play with my Norwalk High School team, seeing if I can lead them further than quarterfinals and see if we can actually win a medal this year.
We would like to present to you a certificate to honor you for being with us this evening and the special recognition. Love to support and acknowledge our youth here in the city of Norwalk. So, in acknowledgement of competing in the 2024 USA Volleyball National Tournament and placing first with her Seal Beach Volleyball Club in the highly competitive age division of 15-year-olds, this incredible accomplishment showcases your dedication, leadership, and the talent shown at the 2023 CIF quarterfinals. And again, another success story in the city of Norwalk. Thank you. Now, what does the medal say here? Because I see you're donning, very nice, national. Ooh, look at that. Look at that, people. That's nice. Stop. Hey, I'm sure me and Mireille, if we're working together, we can get that ball over that net, okay? I'm sure we'll come up team strategy. Team strategy. Okay, right? Right? That was super exciting. All right, moving on now to our city manager comments. Mr. Gomez?
First thing I'll say is go Lancers.
Yeah, go Lancers. That's right.
The first thing that I'll say is we are in a very hot week, hot season. We do have a cooling center at the seniors center, so all are welcome to come and cool down. So please feel welcome at our senior center. And our social services would be a cooling center, but it's under renovation. But it does open August 19th, Monday, August 19th. We'll open our social services center for the community. And if it's still hot, which I think it will be in August, it'll also become a cooling center for our community. With that, we have the 4th of July enforcement update that we typically do at this time of the year. And with that, I will have Mr. Ozzy Ramos will present.
Good evening. I'm going to take the ball from Ozzy this evening. Mayor, members of the City Council. So, giving you some background on why we do what we do. Illegal fireworks pose a significant fire hazard, especially in dry conditions that we see in the summer months in Southern California. They lead to property damage and loss of life. Across Los Angeles County this year, there were several instances of structure fires and home fires that resulted in millions of dollars worth of damage. And every year across the nation, we see tens of thousands of injuries, particularly in children, caused by fireworks. The loud noise disrupts neighborhoods and can severely distress pets and those with stress or anxiety disorders. Every year, local animal shelters like Siaka are filled with lost animals who have run away to try to get away from those noise. And then finally, it does put additional strain on our first responders, LASD, public safety, and the fire department. So months before 4th of July comes up, before everybody's even thinking about the holidays, we engage in very aggressive community messaging to raise awareness. We believe it's our most effective tool in deterring illegal firework activity. And we remain committed to raising awareness in our community about the dangers and penalties associated with those illegal fireworks. Those efforts include our social media posts that you've seen detailing the risks and legal consequences to those, informative flyers that we've distributed to communities and in problem spots. And then we also send letters to past offenders, letting them know that there are additional consequences for offending again. And then finally, we utilize those electronic message boards that are deployed throughout the city. So when you're visiting Norwalk for the first time or you're a regular resident, it's there that it's not a behavior that we tolerate in this community. On the 4th of July, we deployed with the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department dedicated patrols between 3 and 11 o'clock. Each patrol covered a special or a specific area with special attention focused on our known hotspots based off of previous activity and calls for service we received in the past. In order to prevent volatile encounters with residents on the 4th of July, we don't typically engage with them. We use video to capture the illegal activity, and then we send a citation to the property owner afterwards. This approach not only safeguards our officers, but it also helps curb illegal activity in our community, as we've seen. So over the past 3 years, while we've been doing this operation, our proactive messaging and enforcement efforts have significantly reduced crime related to illegal fireworks in the community. This year, thanks to a tip through one of our quadrant officers and then working with Los Angeles Sheriff's Department, we had a significant seizure of fireworks leading up to it. So those fireworks never even hit the street, and we encourage residents to continue to report those tips. Those are our best resource in deterring this type of activity. This year, we can also proudly report that we had a 38% decrease in calls for service through public safety. We believe that the messaging is out there and that we're educating our community effectively. I'm proud to say we had 0 fires, 0 violent incidents, and no repeat offenders this year. So overall, we consider it a very big success. Our effective community outreach, community education, and letting people know about the risks and penalties associated have made a very big impact on that. And we believe we've made the community both more safer and more enjoyable for everybody. This concludes my report. Thank you.
Council, are there any questions?
I just have a quick question. Are we still under the review process of some of those residents that may have been mistakenly identified as lighting fireworks, and they're going through that process of petitioning the city?
Yeah, absolutely. So they came in and they'll file their appeal. We do review those as those come in. So if it is if they can show definitive proof that they never happened. In one case, we had somebody that had airline tickets. They were in Taiwan. They just weren't home. We can dismiss those outright. And then if there's other evidence, then they go through the appeal process. And those are underway now.
And how are we addressing the fine process? Because in order for them to petition the city, they have to pay the fine in full. are we making consideration for waivers? Because we had a resident come in about a couple of weeks ago saying, they couldn't afford a petition, but in order for the city to review it, they had to pay a fine.
We do have a low-income application that they can file at the time when they come and file their appeal. If they'll submit the application, we define if they meet that criteria, they can go to the appeal process without paying that bail at the time. Thank you.
Members of the City Council, I'd just like to add that I think it's super important, and I'd like to thank Richard and his staff and the Sheriff's Department for doing a great job on that day. But I just want to remind Council that we don't issue fines to punish people economically. We do it to change behavior. And one of the things that I thought Mr. Newton really explained is that we're not getting repeat offenders. So this months of messaging and working and educating the community, the proof is in pudding. It's actually working. So we're not getting the same people committing these fines. And to your point, Councilmember Ramirez, is we work with everybody. We look at the whole picture. We realize that those particular days on 4th of July is a challenging event for everybody, but we just want everybody to be safe. So I just want to let you know, we do look at every case independently, and we do send certified letters. We reach out to, we work with them. In some cases, people come in and they plead guilty, and sometimes they miss the payment. And so we work with everybody. We realize it's tough times for some of those people out in the community.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, City Manager?
Yes, so we have two videos. The first one is the Norwalk Transit 50th anniversary that we'd like to show the community. This is going back in history up to date. And Mr. Jim Parker, congratulations on the 50th. So here's the video.
Welcome to Norwalk Transit. We've got new buses and a new route, but the same fare of only 60 cents each way. We can take you as far as City of Industry and La Habra and as close as the local library, senior center, parks, and schools. Norwalk Transit connects to all the local buses as well as Metrolink and the Green Line. In September, the new Route 5 will begin service from Norwalk to La Mirada. Call us at 562-929-5550 for route and fare information and enjoy the ride on Norwalk Transit.
If you love the work you do, you haven't worked a day in your life. That's been my experience with the city of Norwalk. Bell bottoms and platform shoes weren't the only things making a statement in 1974. On August 1st, 1974, as a small intercommunity circulator, Norwalk Transit System was originally known as the Hustle Bus, which consisted of a modest fleet of 12 diesel-powered buses on 3 routes, and the base fare was only 10 cents. Originally, all 3 routes passed through the intersection of Rosecrans Avenue, Pioneer Boulevard, and San Antonio Drive. This is known as 5 Points, which is adjacent to Norwalk Town Square.
The city of Norwalk is on the move literally. By bringing in new technology to the transit system, both drivers and commuters will be breathing in cleaner air.
Currently, Norwalk Transit utilizes a fleet of 34 buses, consisting of 6 battery electric buses, 25 compressed natural gas buses, and 3 gasoline electric hybrid buses. Our challenge for the future is to create a more efficient, integrated, user-friendly transit network in keeping with sustainability, equity, and innovation. In November of 1974, a dial-a-ride service was started for the elderly and handicapped residents of Norwalk.
Dial-a-Ride system has accommodated over 22,000 trips for seniors and disabled residents.
It provides them opportunities for shopping, visiting the senior center, the social service center, and other points of interest that they need to access. Currently, Norwalk Transit offers residents of the city of Norwalk the ability to enroll in a dollar ride program to serve residents who are either 60 years of age and older or who are physically disabled, regardless of age. My involvement with transportation, it's always been trying to facilitate the needs of individuals that are transit dependent. Without transit, they don't have access to jobs, they don't have access to recreational activities, or even their educational goals. So it's essential that we make those services readily available. Originally, Norwalk Transit staff fulfilled the dual role of dispatchers and customer service representatives. Currently, our Norwalk Transit Service maintains a customer service center to assist patrons by providing detailed trip planning and guiding them to the correct bus stops that they need. The philosophy that I try to instill in individuals that work for Norwalk Transit is that we have those that use the service and we want them to come first. So our customer service center helps us to provide that capability for the customers that use the service. I'm proud of the fact that I think I have been relevant with all of the people that I'm surrounded by that really make things happen. The mechanics, the service crew, the bus operators are unbelievable. What they do and how they perform day after day, providing services to our Norwalk residents. So that's where my appreciation is and my gratitude is. Norwalk Transit has been gearing up to celebrate its 50th Golden Jubilee anniversary to acknowledge our transit workforce who have provided transportation services to millions of patrons throughout the region. We appreciate all of you joining us for this momentous occasion as we look back at the last 50 years with gratitude and appreciation for not only surviving, but thriving. Thank you.
Historic moment and some of the history was presented. The one thing that a lot of people don't know is that it is almost a 24-hour operation. They start, Jim, at 3 in the morning and they go till like midnight, preparing the buses, cleaning the buses at the end for the next day. But it's almost a 24-hour operation. So, Jim, thank you. Thanks to the employees who have made this transit system one of the best.
I'd also like to thank the city manager, but more importantly, over the years, as the vice mayor indicated, this council has been very supportive of transit. Without the council support, they would not have succeeded as we have so far, and hopefully in the future as well. So thank you both.
Again, thank you, Jim. Next, we have the bi-weekly video, the activity that has happened in the past 2 weeks. For those of you who were not able to attend, we can provide you with some insight as to all the activities that have happened. So with that, we can play the video.
On July 13th, the Recreation and Park Services Department hosted the Aqua Carnival at the Norwalk Aquatic Pavilion. Those in attendance enjoyed a live DJ, arts and crafts, and had a chance to enjoy the cool water swimming and splashing with family and friends. The popular Front Street Friday Nights concert series is back. Come on down and enjoy food trucks, fun games, art, and live music. Join us every third Friday of the month. The Hargett House hosted a dinner and movie night on July 20th. Residents were treated to a delicious dinner and an outdoor screening of the timeless classic, To Kill a Mockingbird. The city hosted the annual National Night Out event on July 31st. Residents gathered for a fun-filled evening with entertainment for all ages. Public safety officers and the sheriffs also had the opportunity to share valuable information on safety and crime prevention for the community. On Thursday, August 1st, the Norwalk Transit Department celebrated their 50th anniversary. Be sure to catch a ride on one of our buses that feature the Hustle Bus wrap and be transported back to 1974. The City of Norwalk held the Firestone Bridge Safety and Widening Groundbreaking Ceremony on Monday the 5th. Once improvements are finished, the bridge will not only have more vehicle lanes, but also safer sidewalks and new bike lanes.
Mayor and Council, that concludes my city manager comments. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jesus, and again to our communications team for memorializing all the awesome events and significant contributions made by our employees in this particular time. We had our 50th transit recognition, which was great. I was super excited to be there to cut the cake for the 45th and the 50th. So me and Jim held hands. We held hands and that knife together, and we cut that celebration cake.
We also have all of you on tape going through the bus, getting your swag, to doing the hustle. So,
Yes.
thank you very much. I got evidence. Okay.
Oh, darn, yeah. And I have very fond memories because my grandmother and my mom relied on transportation, public transportation. They never drove or owned a vehicle, and so we used to get on the hustle bus. That was, a young girl, and we would ride the hustle bus all over town. And so I have very fond memories, and I'm still hustling. So just again, please thank your staff. I know you said it very eloquently. You guys are a class act, really. Talk about exceptional customer service in the city of Norwalk. You set some very high standards, Jim, with your team, the coach operators, the mechanics, the customer service, the front desk. I mean, yeah. Thank you.
Mayor, if I can add one thing, we talk about the team and the organization itself, but Jim is famous. And I will never forget, I was in Washington, D.C., and walked into the Department of Transportation to have a meeting with about 5 other elected officials, and we went around the room and introduced ourselves and said what city I was from. And he looked at me right away and said, Jim Parker. So you are known all the way in Washington, D.C. for everything that you are doing here. So we are so grateful, and you're making an impact nationwide. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Moving on to our consent calendar, we have items 1 through 14. Do we have any speaker cards? No. Sorry. No. Okay, we have no speaker cards. So, okay, we have a motion.
Second.
And a second. Roll call, please.
The first was very quiet, but I think it was Councilmember Valencia?
Yes.
Okay.
It was at a deep voice.
Thank you. Council members Perez.
Aye.
Ramirez.
Aye.
Valencia.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Aella.
Aye.
Mayor Rios.
Aye. Okay, appointments. Item number 15, advisory body appointments.
Yeah, I have 2, Mayor.
Okay, proceed.
I've got Angela Tasker for the Senior Commission. You can come forward, Angela. And then I have Sylvia Flores for the International Friendship Commission.
Okay. You want to do them both or separately for their own then?
Well,
Teresa, what for the ladies, what works best?
We can do them the same. We just need a second.
Second.
Okay. We have a first and a second for Angela to the Tasker to the Senior Commission, and then we have Sylvia Flores.
for the international friendship.
Okay, come on up, ladies.
Can we do roll call?
She's got the
Yes. Okay, let's get a roll call, please.
Council members Perez,
Yes.
Ramirez,
Aye.
Valencia,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Aella,
aye.
and Mayor Rios.
Aye. Okay, so Teresa, would you like to take over?
Thank you, ladies. If you want to step closer to the podium, there's some the oath of office, which I'll give you now, and you can follow along with me. If you could please both raise your right hand. I, and state your name,
I, Angela Tasker,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will well and faithfully
that I will
that I will well and faithfully I'm sorry, I messed up. That I bear true faith and allegiance.
that I bear true faith and allegiance
Now we're on track. To the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California.
and the Constitution of the State of California,
That I take this obligation freely,
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion.
or purpose of evasion,
That I will well and faithfully
that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
upon which I'm about to enter.
about which I'm about to enter.
Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you, ladies.
Congratulations to both of you. You passed. That was the first test, and you both passed. And
Of course, it sounded like you were joining the Army instead of becoming a commissioner.
and Sylvia, although I know you have a lot of experience and it's been years, but it's like riding a bike. You never forget. So welcome to both of you, and congratulations. Yes, thank you.
Before we move on from this item, I also have another part to it this evening, and I'm recommending as a staff member that the council as a whole appoint Luis Vega to the Art and Public Places Committee as the outside expert with art experience. He is a Norwalk High School teacher, and he has a bachelor's degree in art education. He has an extensive history in art. He's worked for Linwood Unified School District. He's now, of course, with Norwalk High School. He's worked on his own projects. He's collaborated with others. He has been on the AP College Board in relation to the AP Art. So he has quite an extensive, like I said, background. He did most recently work with the two groups that we had from Norwalk High School to design and paint the utility boxes. He's very enthusiastic about art. So I am recommending that council make a motion and second it and vote favorably to nominate him to serve and help guide us with our Art and Public Places program.
So you need a motion? Okay, I'll second.
Jose.
And roll call, please.
Yes, council members Perez.
Aye.
Ramirez.
Aye.
Valencia.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Aella.
Aye.
And Mayor Rios.
Aye. Okay, congratulations to everyone.
I also have an appointment.
Okay.
I have a reappointment.
Councilmember
A reappointment to
Ramirez.
the Social Service Commission, and that'd be Andrea Garcia.
Social service?
Yes. She's not here this evening.
Second.
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Sorry, can I just get her name? Andrea
Garcia.
Garcia. Thank you. Yes. Council members Perez.
Aye.
Ramirez.
Aye.
Valencia.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Aella.
Aye.
And Mayor Rios.
Aye. Congratulations to everyone. And welcome aboard, joining the team. Okay, so we are now moving on to item number 16, ordinance and resolutions, urgency interim ordinance number 24, 1752U, a moratorium to establish, implement, or operate temporarily or permanently convenience stores. It's a long one. Convenience stores, liquor stores, discount stores, personal use laundromat, vehicle, automobile, washing, payday loan establishments, emergency shelters, single room occupancy, supportive housing, and transitional housing. And do we have a report?
Yes, Mayor Rios and members of the City Council, Mr. Alex Hamilton will present.
Thank you, Mayor and Honorable City Council. The item before you tonight is really the result of the notion that certain land uses, by virtue of their operational characteristics, may have a negative impact on the community and have been identified in the draft ordinance that's before you. The uses that have been identified by staff include convenience stores, more specifically liquor stores, vehicle, automotive washing, car washes, personal use laundromats, payday loan establishments, emergency shelters, single room occupancies, and transitional and supportive housing. So California State Code Section 65858 allows for a city to study uses within a reasonable time on an urgency basis, hence the term interim urgency ordinance. Initially, it does require throughout a 4/5 vote, affirmative vote, and initially it's effective for 45 days, and it can be extended 2 times additionally, 10 months and 15 days, and a year thereafter, again, subject to 4/5 vote. This does allow staff time to study the uses that have been identified, to look at potentially reasonable standards, development standards, performance standards that can better manage those uses. That's why the time is necessary to study those said uses. This ordinance before you is consistent with 2 goals in the strategic plan. Goal 2 for safe and livable neighborhoods, and goal 3 for the creation and sustaining of a resilient and economically prosperous city. At this point, staff does recommend City Council adopt urgency interim ordinance number 24-1752U. I also wanted to add that in the ordinance, there is a provision that does allow for, so in essence, if you vote to approve this ordinance or adopt this ordinance tonight, it in effect freezes those identified uses in place. In other words, the existing lawfully established uses that are among those listed they're fine, they're legal non-conforming. This would prohibit the establishment of any new uses as we've identified in the report during the study period, the interim urgency ordinance period. The ordinance does allow for, on a case-by-case basis, at the director's or planning commission or city council's discretion, sole discretion, to review uses should they come in during this interim period. But again, that would be done on a case-by-case basis to allow for us to take into account maybe uses that are in the pipeline, that are ready to move into a tenant space, but are not quite there yet. So there is some relief that is contemplated in this ordinance. Nonetheless, staff believes this is a very powerful tool to allow us to better assess and develop potential performance standards, development standards in the zoning code. Our zoning code, as all of you are aware, is pretty old. It's from the 90s. There have been some updates, but nothing substantively on a comprehensive basis. So this will allow us to look at those uses and come back to you. We do have to report back to you within 45 days. It's in essence a status report, and at that time, if it's felt that more time is needed to study these uses and come up with standards to manage them, we'll request an extension at your discretion. This concludes my presentation. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions should you have them. I know that our city clerk did receive one email, I think that was directed to city council and staff in opposition to this ordinance.
Okay, so what we'll do now before we continue with the opportunity for questions from council, I do have two speaker cards before me. So we'll begin with those. And Teresa, if you have anyone else identified that would like to speak on this item, please let me know. So this is for item number 16. I have a speaker card here for Violeta Aguilar Wyrick.
Can I have you click on the arrow, please? Down. Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, Council, City Manager, staff. My name is Violeta Aguilar, and I'm here to speak on behalf of Mark Najar and Ellie Aman. They're the property owners and operators for Gold Car Wash located at 11556 Imperial Highway. So I'm just going to go ahead and read what they've asked me to read on their behalf. Gold Car Wash has been serving the community of Norwalk since the 1960s, and we have been the operators for the last 5 years. As small business owners, we take great pride in being part of the Norwalk community. As such, we're in the process of working collaboratively with the city, engaging the community, and making investments necessary to redevelop our property. We are concerned that the city is moving to implement a moratorium on a number of uses, including car washes. As such, we respectfully ask the council vote no on item number 16 on tonight's agenda. We look forward to continue to have conversations with council, staff, and the Norwalk community in order to bring the city of Norwalk a catalytic project to further support the vision of this council for the city. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Aguilar. And Alex, if we can just start some communication with them regarding their particular comments. The next speaker card I have here for item number 16 is Ivan Sulik. And he will share a statement from Supervisor Janice Hahn.
Yes, I will. Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council, Mr. City Manager, and everyone here. I'm Ivan Sulik, and I'm here from Supervisor Janice Hahn's office. I'm here to speak about the 45-day moratorium on many establishments, including emergency shelters. First, the supervisor wanted me to thank the City of Norwalk and its City Council for being a great partner these past several years, as we have worked together to address the homeless crisis. Your support for launching the county's first care court site at the Norwalk Courthouse was invaluable, and we appreciate how supportive you have been of the supervisor's plan to establish a care campus at the Metropolitan State Hospital. The supervisor believes in the importance of interim housing, but she knows that the only way these projects are successful is if they have the support of the city. And we understand that you have many serious concerns about the county's proposal to use the Saddleback Motel as interim housing. We can't do this work without Norwalk being a partner. So while we are sorry that it has gotten to the point that you felt that you needed an emergency moratorium, Supervisor Hahn hopes that we could spend this time, the next 45 days, working together to address your concerns and working together to make this project better. Councilwoman Perez, I understand that you and Supervisor Hahn have been talking about meeting soon. I think that is a good next step. Please feel free to reach out to me with any concerns, and I hope we can have this meeting between the City Council and Supervisor Hahn to make sure that this project is successful for the City of Norwalk. And thank you so much for letting me be here this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Ivan. Is there anyone else wishing to speak? Okay, with that, we'll return it back to council for comments or questions.
Mayor, I just wanted Sorry.
Oh, yes.
I just wanted to clarify that the email that Mr. Hamilton mentioned earlier was from the two individuals that Ms. Aguilar represented this evening. So that
Okay. Do we need to read?
we don't.
Okay.
I just want to let you know
sure.
that she was speaking on their
Okay.
behalf, and that's the same email.
All right. Very good. City Council.
I'll move it.
I'll second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Alvarez, did you want to read the title, or do you want me to? Or I guess the mayor read it in the beginning, right? She read the whole thing. We're good.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Sorry.
But
Council
you know
members.
what? I mean, we can. I mean,
No,
Go ahead.
no, you already read it.
Okay.
So we're
well,
good.
No, this,
as
the
long as
motion is
city
to
attorney is
adopt.
good.
Urgency interim ordinance number 24-1752U, a moratorium to establish and implement or operate temporary or permanently convenience stores, liquor stores, discount stores, personal use laundromat, vehicle, automobile washing, payday loan establishments, emergency shelters, single room occupancy, supportive housing, and transitional housing. And that would require a 4/5 vote, and it's been moved and seconded.
Thank you.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Council members Perez.
Aye.
Ramirez.
Aye.
Valencia.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Aella.
Aye.
And Mayor Rios.
Aye.
Okay, motion has passed. We are now at item number 17, reports. Funding request from business owner to assist with funding art project. Staff report, please.
Yes. Mayor Rios and members of City Council, Ms. Teresa DeVoy will present.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council. This evening, we're here to discuss a proposal that was submitted to the city requesting some funding for artwork at the Milagro Theaters that has been mentioned earlier. So I'm going to provide you with some background information and highlight the what the code requirements are, and then what the proposal is, and then have some discussion as you'd like. So first, I'll start with the Art and Public Places Committee was formed by ordinance and is established in the Norwalk Municipal Code as Chapter 15.44, and it provides the process for reviewing and approving art projects that are in compliance with the code. There is a requirement of developments that are $500,000 or greater to submit either submit in lieu contributions of 1% of the total value of their project, or create and install artwork on their property in the public view. So the application process is the Art and Public Places Committee, which was also established through that ordinance, and members are appointed by the City Council, are tasked with reviewing all of the art project applications that come before them, and they're reviewed on specific criteria that is outlined in the Norwalk Municipal Code, and to ensure that it meets those criteria and themes that have been developed for specific artwork in the community. And then once they do that, once the committee hears that information and makes a determination, they forward their recommendation to City Council for final decision. So the criteria, just to give you an idea, first of all, the art is to be placed in a public place, which is defined in section 15.44.020 as any exterior area on public or private property which is accessible and visible to the general public. 2, it shall be freely accessible to the public for at least 10 hours every day. 3, it will be permanently affixed to the property. 4, it conforms to one of the approved themes. 5, it does not promote a specific business or service. And 6, it is not mass-produced, reproduced from an original decorative, ornamental, or functionality designed by an architect. So artwork and ownership and responsibility for maintaining. So the artwork, if it's placed by a developer on their property, it's their responsibility to maintain it and to ensure that it stays in its original form. If it gets damaged, it's their responsibility to fix it. There are, according to the municipal code, covenants, conditions, and restrictions that are required to be filed in and approved by the city manager and city attorney, which indicates those things. Moving on. So I'm going to move now to the proposed project highlights. Mr. Esparza, the owner of the Milagro Theaters, originally had contributed $20,000, which was his requirement for the fund, or into the fund, in lieu of installing artwork on his property. During a later time, he decided that he would like to have artwork installed at the property, and so he presented a proposal to the city of Norwalk that consists of 2 phases. Phase 1 is an inside mural entitled A Father's Gift, and part 2 of that is painting the word Milagro on the outside of the building. Phase 2 consists of an art hallway inside the cinema that will, according to Mr. Esparza, have a rotating artwork of local artists. He's also been in discussions with the Museum of Latin American Art in Long Beach to have Latin artists have their artwork on display as a loan to the cinema. As part of Phase 1, there's a mural, and this is just a rendering that was originally provided. I believe the mural's been completed and looks similar to this. It depicts Mr. Esparza as a child and with his father attending the theater, holding the popcorn basket that says Milagro on it. It was originally 16 by 25 in the proposal. I'm not sure how large the actual one ended up being. And it was painted by a world-renowned artist, I think the mayor mentioned earlier, Robert Vargas, who has an extensive collection of artwork throughout the world. And then the second part of Phase 1 was the word Milagro on the outside of the theater. I have not seen it yet, so I'm not sure if it's there. But the proposal, again, is to paint Milagro that looks similar to this. I think that's the final proposal that was submitted for us. And that part was going to be, or has been painted by artists Jose Ortiz and Wilmer Reyes. So the request for this project, the total cost for Phase 1, as I understand it, is $100,000. And Mr. Esparza has requested that the city refund his original $20,000 contribution, plus an additional $30,000 to total $50,000 to help fund that portion of his art project within the theater. The Art and Public Places Committee did review the proposal. Mr. Esparza came and he spoke to the committee and explained the proposal and shared the photographs with them. And then the Art and Public Places Committee discussed the project elements. They talked about what projects were in conflict with the Art and Public program as established by the code, not meeting certain criteria. They discussed the request for funding, potentially reducing the funding, specifically in relation to the outside, since it has the word Milagro, which is the name of the theater. But the final vote after that discussion was 3-2 in favor of the project as proposed, with a contribution of $50,000. So this evening, staff is seeking City Council's determination on the funding request from Mr. Esparza in the amount of $50,000 and the artwork for the cinemas as shown in the proposal. That concludes my report, and I'm available to address questions.
Okay, before we get to questions, is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak on this item? Please come to the podium.
My name is Moctezuma Esparza, and thank you very much, Mayor and members of the council, for allowing me to address you. The city clerk has done an excellent job of summarizing the presentation and the discussion that occurred. I'd like to just add that we complied with all of the requirements of the ordinance in terms of it being public, in terms of the hours of access, in terms of taking responsibility for its maintenance and repair, with the one exception of this being an interior artwork as a mural. And I pointed out to the committee when I was there that throughout the world, the vast majority of all murals are interior. So it is an anomaly that you have an ordinance that has this particular requirement, because it doesn't conform to the art world. For as far back as the frescoes in Greece or in Rome or in Latin America, frescoes and murals are typically indoors, and they are because they're protected. And fine works of art can easily be damaged, and it is much more difficult when they are exposed to the elements and into the wiles of wayward youth. So We are particularly proud that we did get Robert Vargas, who is a renowned world recognized muralist. This is his vision. The artwork is his conception. It is his original concept that he took from source materials. That particular framing that you see does not exist in any photograph or in any other work. It is his work. So I thank you for your consideration. We're very proud to be here in Norwalk, and I'm speaking rather slowly and kind of tired because I'm physically wiped out from the parties for the last 3 days that we had for the city and to welcome everyone. So I'm happy to answer any question.
Thank you, Moctezuma. Thank you. Okay, returning it now to the council. I'll go ahead and move the item.
I have some questions.
I have a couple questions
okay.
too.
We have questions. Councilmember Jennifer Perez.
Thank you. Teresa, have we had any businesses and or developers that have been denied art projects or the notion that they're proposing because they did not follow the rules that we have laid out for art in public places in the city of Norwalk?
Yes.
Okay. So I did serve on the Art in Public Places Commission while being a planning commissioner for former council member Luigi Vernola. And this was very specific. These, whether we want to go back and change them after the fact, these are in here for a reason. And it is called Art in Public Places because we want our residents and those that are visiting the city of Norwalk to enjoy it. As to my understanding in the report, the mural is inside the theater, and from what I can see is on the outside of the building. When I was on the planning commission, would be considered a sign because it is the name of the business, the name of the theater, and we have very specific sign ordinances here in the city of Norwalk. Some of the projects that I know that were denied, Norwalk Fitness Village, with a piece of art that they had suggested for the gym facility facing Bloomfield. I believe both McKenna and Norwalk Toyota presented art depicting the automotive industry, and those were denied. And if I recall, and this may have happened either when I was on Art in Public Places or shortly thereafter, after the damage was done at the Christian Towers, they had proposed a very large chess set and piece of art in the courtyard. And for reasons I honestly do not remember, at that time, that was also denied. We have several businesses that are coming to the city of Norwalk, major developments that are going to transform our city. And I think we will be setting a precedent from denying many businesses in the past to not only allowing this particular piece of art to not only be approved, even though it is not in accordance to our Norwalk Municipal Code and our Art in Public Places bylaws, it definitely sets a precedent to those businesses that are to come. I am very worried about that. And if that is the case, then we need to change the bylaws in the Norwalk Municipal Code. But I cannot support this piece of art based on the fact that it does not meet code. And we have turned down other business partners in the city before because of that. And I try to be extremely fair and across the board for all businesses. And for that reason, for those businesses that were denied, for this same exact reason, I cannot support this project.
Question.
Vice Mayor, he spoke. Let's do Vice Mayor Tony Aella.
I think I see what Jennifer's saying because I think it's clear that and everything she's done with this and having to do with this project too, it's got nothing to do with what the art is or anything else. I think I'm coming from the same place insofar as that. If we want to move in a different direction, if we want to discuss whether murals should be inside or outside or any of that kind of stuff, then what I think we got to do is that, we got to, make that happen with the proper process that the city has to make that happen, to redefine some of this stuff. Because some of this stuff, and I know Alex had mentioned it earlier, some of these municipal codes from the 1990s, they may be outdated, but what I can't do is I cannot vote against a Norwalk municipal code. I don't know how any of us could, because it's code. And if we don't like it, we have to change it. We can't vote against it. So if we want to change it, if we're going to have a new direction in all this, hey, I'm fine with that. But we got to do it the right way, because I'm not even sure, Arnold, what the implications are of council voting against one of its own municipal codes.
Madam Mayor, members of the council, well, as I've looked at and studied the municipal code provisions, it all rests on the city council. The operation of the fund, the funding, the use of the funds all rest with the city council. There are guidelines that are established in 15.44070. It says that they shall include but not limited to, and that is kind of the wiggle room, I think, that a council may embrace or not embrace. It is the old saying of art is in the eye of the beholder. It's almost the municipal code interpretation is in the eyes of the city council. So it rests solely with, from my perspective, it rests solely with the interpretation of the city council members, individual members, and collective body. And so it really is. It's a policy decision as opposed to more of a legal decision. But there are.
Could you make that argument with any municipal code then? I mean, any municipal code couldn't ultimately, whether it's fireworks citations or parking tickets, I mean, wouldn't, if what you're saying is correct, that we're the ones that call the ball on that stuff, does that mean we could constantly make exceptions based on council meetings where it comes up?
Well, a city has the right to exclude itself from its own municipal codes. Having said that, there are codes, and the council applies them as the council deems appropriate and fit. And again, not having seen the entire, based on the presentation tonight, and I also recognize there's the approval by the Arts Committee, the Arts and Public Places Committee. They, in making that recommendation or that finding, that group must have determined that it fits this definition. Now, whether the council supports that or not, it's the 5 council members.
Councilmember Rick Ramirez.
Yeah, Councilmember Perez, you had cited some of the codes that may be out of compliance. Can you? I know we had this conversation in the hall because I had some questions, and I thought since I've been out of action on the city council for 10 years and coming back, things might have changed, and I'm maybe not up to speed on the policy on the Arts and Public Places Commission. So we had a brief conversation in the hall. Can you kind of walk me through some of these out of compliance specific to this type of project?
I think Teresa can go. I think she had a few in the PowerPoint, if I recall. It's supposed to be in public and available for the public to see.
Okay, so I understand that part. Does public have access to that lobby, or is there a fee to be paid prior to getting in, or is that lobby access? So I'm familiar with these art crawls that
please come to the podium, Mr. Moctezuma.
Most cities have. When you have art enthusiasts that go around the cities and look at various arts, and I've done this for art classes at Cerritos College and other universities. So my question is, does the public have access to that lobby without having to pay to get in?
100%. No fee is charged, no ticket is required. It is a completely open lobby all the way up to the corridor that is planned as a future art gallery in cooperation with MOLA. And it exceeds the hours that the ordinance requires that it be available. So more than 12 hours a day, anyone can walk into the lobby and see the artwork. No fee, no ticket is required to go into the lobby. Ticket control for the movie theater is substantially behind this wall, about another 40 or 50 feet. So no, there is no charge, there is no restriction. It is completely open to the public.
So I had an opportunity to partake in the ribbon cutting, and I was fascinated on the concept that you explained, that this would be a public gathering place for those who are interested in the arts and entertainment, as well as incorporating community events, community outreach, being that community business partner that I think all of us really look for in a business partner in the city of Norwalk. But I didn't realize that we were funding an art in public places mural until I left, and I was thinking at night, I'm thinking, how do I justify it, right? How do I, but you're answering the right questions, and I'm seeing the difference in having public access.
Yes.
Because I didn't really think of it when I left. I enjoyed myself, the atmosphere, and the fact that the community came out and supported it. A tremendous amount of community, and the fact that we've got a number of notoriety from the media. It brings culture to our community, and Norwalk is a mix of various cultures. I think it's a really, really exciting project. But when I left, I did have that question on the way home: is how do I justify supporting the funding of our project? But I think for me, having it open to the public, not having to pay, it's almost the same as us going to a shopping center or to see a like we mentioned, the Norwalk Marquee, or what do you call that, right on Bloomfield in Imperial, and other things that we have, the horses over there on Firestone and Hoxie, and then we have the Camino Real, and then we have, so when I was mayor back in 2017, we did a huge 50th anniversary community art project where we went all over the city, and we probably put in artwork, newspaper boy, bronze statues, the Camino Real. We did a number of events, and then we recently just did the yellow, what's it called?
The COVID memorial.
The COVID memorial. So I'm a big supporter of the arts, especially the arts of entertainment. But again, you answered my question.
Thank you. The only other comment that I would add is that Milagro is not the name of the business. Milagro is a cultural word.
Correct.
That expresses a sentiment and an emotion, and that's how it's being used.
And I think, being a someone appreciative of the arts, I understand the concept and the meaning behind a lot of the titles and the words, like Encanto and Milagro and, everything else, because it's like Mr. Glassen mentions, arts in the eye of the beholder, right? However you look at it, however you appreciate it. Everyone has a different taste of art.
Thank you very much.
And I'm thinking, what other aspects of this that were out of compliance?
So one of the other ones is that you're not promoting a specific business or your business. So, for example, at the Norwalk Fitness Village right here on Bloomfield and Imperial, when the gym was coming in, I don't remember at the time if it was LA Fitness or East Sporta, which it is now. I think it was LA Fitness. The mural that the business wanted to paint was of different sports and sporting activities and working out in the gym, etc., which directly affects number 5 that's here on the screen, that is promoting a specific business. So some of the items that you brought up in regards to the horses, the different murals, the one right outside here, those aren't the direct reflect of a business. So there are 2 different types of contributions that art in public places can have. Now, you can have a business that decides, instead of contributing to the fund, they can do art on their actual property and their business.
In
So
lieu of that fee. So,
in
for
lieu
instance,
of paying the fee,
his 20,000 that he contributed to the project could have been used towards
another piece of
another.
art in the city.
Got it.
And so that's how the fund, the Art in Public Places Commission Fund, is built, is various dollar amounts and contribution levels that are in the code that are then put into the city fund, Art in Public Places Fund, to do art throughout the city. So that's some of the big differences. I would love to say that in all of our presentations, your comments about the celebrations and everybody that attended this weekend, every news channel that reported said Milagro Cinemas here in the city of Norwalk. So to me, that is the name of the theater. If that is the name of the theater, the artwork with Milagro on the side of the building is the name of the business. So that's, to me, that's a big conflict.
So what I'm thinking is that, like Mr. Aella mentioned, this ordinance or this policy may be outdated, right? Because of the verbiage or whatever the context of the time was when they drafted this, because art was abstract and art was different, and there's a lot of different mediums, a lot of different options. Trying to think what else. What am I missing?
May I respond?
What?
I don't
Just-
think you can.
Just a second. Are you done with your questions? Okay. I just want to give everyone an opportunity. Anna, did you have any questions?
I'm listening. I'm absorbing. Go ahead.
So one question I had was that,
okay.
so in his request, he's asking for a $20,000 back to help offset the cost of the mural, in addition to the 30 to equal 50. Is that what
So
we're at?
his portion to the Art in Public Places Commission is $20,000. So he's asking that we refund that $20,000 back to him that he already commissioned, added to the fund. In addition, can the city to contribute an additional $30,000 to cover the additional costs of all of the phases.
So the initial request was for 30,000, and now it's always
The initial deposit is $20,000.
Okay.
So we can easily give that back. It's still, even giving it back and how we have treated other businesses, even though they wanted to do art on their own business, we've still told them no because of these codes.
The request is for 50,000.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Council Member Anna?
Yeah. You know, when we were in the school board, there were lots of policies that we had to revisit because of the language. One specifically was very outdated, and it asked for it stated that people who had tattoos or body art could not step foot in the schools. Right? It was obviously very outdated because nowadays body art is very rampant. It's everywhere. So it was a good thing that we revisited and that we voted to update, or actually to get rid of that policy. I think that there is some merit into looking at our policy and to revisiting some of the language in it. I do agree with the fact that art shouldn't have to be in public places, or it could be stated differently, because I think the art that we do currently have, many of the art pieces have been vandalized. It's such a shame that has happened, and at times, numerous times, we've had to go out and really fix, repair, replace, and that's very costly as well. So the term public is something that I think we need to look at. It's a it's a business, right? This movie theater is a business. However, it is a public business. Lots of people can go in. And as Mr. Esparza has stated, anybody can go in and take a look, and really for many hours. They can stay there. So it is something that I am in favor of having some funding, if not all, to be covered, because I do think that it's an opportunity for us to partake in this wonderful mural painting depiction of what movie theaters means to many of us. And I shared that my father and I used to go to the movies as well. Not very often, but we did. So, yeah, those are my comments. Thank you. Let's see. Okay, now that everyone else has spoken, I also have a few comments. And took some notes here, listening to everyone. So that was very good input and discussion. Absolutely. And I value everyone's opinion. Obviously, it's very important. You know, as a governing body, and I think our city attorney explained it in very simple terms. I mean, we are the governing body, and we make decisions all the time. Some people like our decisions, some people don't like our decisions. We make decisions. We've made so many critical decisions over the years, and sometimes we don't know what's going to happen. We don't have a crystal ball before us. So when we talk about setting precedent or the future is going to look like this or what about that, we really don't know. We make decisions on multi-million-dollar projects. We don't have a crystal ball before us. Anything can happen. That's not to say we're setting precedent, because I believe that our council has been mindful of just that, you know, our decisions. But again, we don't have a crystal ball. We can't predict the future. We don't know about precedent. I believe that we know what's currently before us. And currently before us is an opportunity to back what we have said all along in our support of the arts. I mean, we openly, I mean, we have through our Cultural Arts Center, we welcome new artists. We welcome upcoming artists. We welcome established artists. I mean, that is what really Norwalk represents. I think we've, through just the implementation of the work, the artwork that we've, you know, promoted throughout citywide, is significant. I think we've done a very, very good job with that. And so here, you know, when we hear Milagro Cinemas here in Norwalk, Robert Vargas here in Norwalk, to me that's music to my ears. Are you kidding me? I'm Norwalk. Thank you for our media outlets for promoting something positive here in Norwalk. That's what I hear. And I think as a council, I know, and I'm, again, because I value everyone's opinion, so I'll speak, you know, I'm speaking on my own behalf. I like to think with vision and forethought, and I'm sorry, it's just a little disruptive up here when the audience is speaking at the same time. If you can please, I really appreciate that. As I was saying, I like to think, you know, that we're visionary, that we have forethought, that we are looking into the future, we are innovative, we are thinking outside of the box. Do we always get it right? No. But as I mentioned, I think this council has done a very good job of having enough foresight to bring
and accept and support what's good for Norwalk. And the fact that we have, here a cinema where an owner, an individual, a business member has invested millions of dollars, he could have gone anywhere else. He came to Norwalk. Have we not said thousands of times that we support businesses in Norwalk? However that may be. And if we have to look at something differently in the future to make sure that everyone feels good about it, then that is something that we should look at in the future. But I think for now, the question at hand is, do we want to support this art project, this mural in our city? We're talking about a world-renowned artist who created something here in our city, the city of Norwalk, for all of our community to enjoy. And it's in the lobby. I mean, I welcome any of you to go to this lobby. You can walk in at any time and see. I mean, this is an artist who's created art worldwide, and he did for us here in the city of Norwalk, for our community. We have art throughout the entire, city. Some can say not everyone comes to City Hall. I mean, how much of traffic do we get here where people can come and enjoy the art here? It is public. I mean, but it fits a niche. The art fits a niche everywhere, citywide, whether it be here at City Hall, whether it be at an individual business, whether it be at a park, I mean, the opportunities are endless. They're endless. And I love the idea of this lobby supporting the arts, that we're actually going to embrace the youth, nonprofit organizations, community groups that want to come and enjoy this. Again, it's open to the public, and it's here in Norwalk. I just don't, it's unfortunate that this has become a bit controversial, because, again, I like to believe and think that we are innovative, we are definitely supportive of the arts, we are open-minded, we are creative, we have enough forethought, we think out of the box, and this is, I think, I don't know. I personally, I think it's just a great opportunity. Again, I'm not looking at specifically. Well, of course, I'm looking at a business, supporting of a business, but I think that what my focus is with this decision or any is it good for the community? Is it good for the community? I don't see how this isn't, and I think it would be a bit hypocritical if we say we support the arts, if we say we support our businesses, but we don't take action towards that. So, but that's all I have.
Can I just respond to that a little bit? I said what I said when I did because I was afraid this was going to go here. My son's an actor and a writer, so to say I'm against the arts is kind of funny, but I'm not against the arts. I agree 100% with what Margarita's saying. Me and my wife probably spend more money on the arts through my son than a lot of people in Norwalk. It's not the issue. I'm not saying that the arts are bad, or this is better than this, or that and the other thing. And I didn't want it to go there because I knew that, that I would get pilloried because it would make it seem like I was against the arts. That's not where I'm coming from. Okay, my whole background's government, and that's how I do. And when it comes to the code, I'm a literalist. And I think that it gets very capricious to say, well, we're going to do this for one, and then we're going to do this for another, and do something else for another. And to single you out. And I admire what you're doing with the theater and stuff. But to single you out and say I'm not being supportive of business because I have questions about whether this fulfills the code couldn't be any more incorrect, because I'm just as supportive of the businesses that didn't get their art approved. In other words, I can't be more supportive of your business than somebody else's business if we're all in the same community at the same time. But what I have to have everybody understand is this is not a commentary on how I feel about the arts, because I lived it. My wife's right over there if you want to ask her. Okay? So it is not that. What it is that in my mind, all businesses are unequal in Norwalk. And if there's something that we can do to clean this process up to get you to where you want to go as quick as possible, then I say, let's do it. Let's get with it yesterday. But to say, well, we're kind of going to go here and we're going to kind of go there, and that's what it appears to me. I'm not saying that it is reality for everybody else, because everybody up here has good intentions, there's no doubt. But I just wanted to be crystal clear. This has nothing to do with what my opinion is about the arts or the importance of the arts or the opportunity that you bring this city. And I appreciate that. But I got to tell you, there's a lot of other business people that bring opportunities to this city, and they will continue to bring opportunities to this city. So I just don't want you to take this the wrong way, that somehow against your project, I'm diminishing what you're trying to do, how you think, and everything else. Because I'm a believer. I don't need to be converted. But when it comes to the code, I'm a literalist. And it's like, if it's not working, then let's fix it. Let's do it the government way. Let's do it the rule of law way. And so, that's precisely why I can't support this. But I want you to hear from me why I don't support it. Not what my colleagues are saying as to why I don't support it. I want you to hear that from me. So we're good.
If I may add real quick, I don't think anyone's questioning you, Tony. I think everyone here is independently thinking. Everyone, we're not. We know you don't burn books, and you're not. You're anti-art. We get it. Everyone's a fond of the arts here. Everyone appreciates the arts, and I get it. It's black and white sometimes when we interpret these ordinances, and I get everyone's philosophy where they're stern on their decision because it's black and white. But we make tough decisions up here. Sometimes we have to meander into that gray area to kind of interpret what we think is right for the times that we're going to address some of these issues. For instance, we collectively, we banned alcohol at some of our special events, the street fairs, the City Hall lawn. But if you look at other communities around us, they're thriving. There's no problems. Bellflower, Pico Rivera, Artesia, Whittier. Everyone's enjoying themselves. So we interpret things different, and we enforce things differently. So I think we're kind of beating the dead horse now. I'm going to move forward at a recommendation to approve it, and then coming back sometime to reevaluate the process and bring it to a modern time on how we look at arts in public places on the new policy.
Was that a motion?
So I make that motion.
I'll second. Roll call, please.
Council members Perez,
No.
Ramirez,
Aye.
Valencia,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Aella,
No.
Mayor Rios.
Aye. Thank you. Okay, moving on to item number 18. Thank you. We have Cecilia Street between Oranday Road and Fairford Avenue. Staff report, please.
Mayor Rios, members of the City Council, we have Mr. Glenn Cow present. Good evening, Mayor and Council members. The item before you is for your consideration to recommend based on our what we've reviewed on this. I want to start off with a little bit of background because it's been a while since we've talked about speed hump and policy. So on March 15, 2021 is when you approved the policy going forward. The intent of that is to provide a citywide speed hump policy for its residents to mitigate and improve safety and reduce vehicle peds conflicts. Policy was also developed through research with other agencies. We spoke with input from LA County services, both fire and city sheriffs, regarding potential impacts on their services.
It also considered guidelines from the Institute of Transportation Engineers and involved benefit cost analyses for the various types of mechanisms that could be employed. As part of the speed hump policy, we have in there what we refer to as a neighborhood traffic management program. I'll refer to it as NTMP, so I don't drag out this discussion for you. It offers a comprehensive approach on how to address traffic safety concerns. No two situations or the incidences are alike. While they may look similar, they're very different. Part of the concern at the time was in regards to the validity or the ability to stand behind the policy. We did in such a way that the insurance agencies in the state of California officially recognized the NTMPs as alternatives as official traffic control, demonstrating it meets standards which can be defended if needed in a court of law. It also designed to establish a standard of process for receiving requests, assessing the concerns brought up by our residents here, and how to implement targeted traffic calming solutions. Tall order, actually. It also had a community-driven approach where it uses petitions to gain neighborhood consensus on the appropriate type of traffic calming mechanism or tool to enhance safety. However, these tools should not be applied on roads where we have criteria where it can be. So where you cannot is where speeds are higher than 25 miles an hour, for example, and on roads that are part of the federal highway system. There are other criteria that we would apply also when we review each request. Let's see here. Specific to this tonight for you, I want to add also under our speed hump policy, we have 5 steps we use. One's the IQC, that's the initial quality criteria. Then there's the petition process. There's also data collection and analyses. That's step 3. Step 4 is consideration by the Public Safety Commission. And then step 5 would be consideration for City Council. Tonight we're at step 5 of that. The location in particular tonight is Cecilia Street, approximately between Oranday and Fairford. It's up near the 5 freeway, and Cecilia, we share the street with the city of Downey, right down the center line. The background on that is on October 22nd, 2023, staff had brought forward to the Public Safety Commission meeting and presented recommendations to install speed humps on this segment of roadway. Residents were also allowed to express their comments, concerns during the public comment period, and a petition signed by residents as required under step 2 was submitted by the applicant or the applying party. And it was thoroughly, we review all the data, we don't sit lax, we take it very seriously when we review this to ensure that it's proper and all the criteria are there. And it was approved by staff to bring it forward under the NTMP guidelines. The Public Safety Commission at that meeting unanimously voted to present recommendations to it comes forward to step 5 to the City Council to take action on. However, at the time, it was believed that there might not have been a quorum at that meeting. This here is the location to give you the background. The red marks on there indicate potential locations. It hasn't been verified yet, and I'll touch on that a little bit later in this. So at the November 6, 2023 meeting of the Public Safety Commission, staff informed the Commission that we discussed this item about the quorum being present with the City Attorney's Office. And it was determined that a quorum was convened at the October 2nd meeting. So therefore, at that meeting, I left one piece out. At the October 2nd meeting, they had voted to approve it to go forward to you. So at this meeting, it was determined that a quorum was present and that action carried forward. During comment, a resident had submitted a petition a little different than what our criteria require. So on a particular segment, we have certain streets that are required to be petitioned because it's based on 65% approval rating or support rating. The secondary petition was submitted it was basically along the segment of Lakeland Road, which is parallel, on Oranday and Ben Fairford. And it was staff, we accepted it, we reviewed it, and the petition was actually for against the installation of speed humps on Cecilia. So the result, this kind of put a little crimp in the process, and it delayed the results recommendation being coming to you as it is tonight. Upon further review and also again consulting with the city attorney's office, it was determined that the petition was incomplete and it did not comply with the city's NTMP, and as a result, it was not approved, so it was not accepted. So under the review, I talked about these 5 steps. I'll briefly touch these. This table here shows under step 1 the initial qualifying criteria. It was reviewed, and you have to have 6 boxes say yes. All 6 were approved. All the conditions were met. Under step 2, the speed hump petition circulation, I briefly touched on that and brought it to you forward. Now I'm following under our policy and the steps, and to explain how it qualified in. So after the IQC was found accepted or approval, we then had the applicant submit the petition, go on petition. It came back and it did have that criteria met, the 65%. Additionally, there are under the data collection component, there are questions there that are asked. For example, does the street have an ADT, average daily traffic volume, of greater than 3,000 vehicles or less? It is yes, it's at 2532 vehicles per day. There were 950 going eastbound and 1582 westbound. That criteria is satisfied. Number 2, under that component, 65% of vehicles traveling on the street exceeding the speed limit. 1,270 vehicles were traveling over 25 miles per hour. Yes, speed limit is 25 miles per hour on that street segment. And then we do a calculation to show a percentage divided by the total, and you get 50.2%. That number refers to that while it falls below the 65% threshold, further review of the data indicates that there's a pattern of collision that are occurring on this particular road segment. Additionally, the curve from Oranday coming north to Cecilia going west, and it's a nice right-hand turn, but has a sharp angle point as it's trying to merge onto Cecilia. The geometry contributes to, at that speed, the speed's higher than 25 miles an hour, it contributes to incidents that are occurring there. And that criteria, reviewed by traffic engineer, not myself, indicates that it's satisfied based on engineering judgment. Third, on this table here, it's a review of the history of the past 5 years on this roadway segment. Each of these show date, time, the precise location, the description, and what was the primary collision factor. The first one had to do with unsafe turning movement. Thankfully, nobody was injured or killed in these 3 incidences. The second one had to do with improper turning movement. And the last one had to do with DUI and traveling at unsafe speed. So you're upping the ante on that when you could put those factors in. The 5-year accident rate, the ratio we use is it was calculated, it's used as 0.65 accidents per million vehicles. It's quite a large number. It's much lower than the rate of 1.07 accidents per million vehicles. So it's qualified that criteria there. People might be wondering, where do you get such an obscure number, 1.07 million? That actually comes out of Caltrans 2020 study of data collection of crash data related incidents upon state highways. The other is a PCF, primary collision factor, for the 3 reported incidences in the prior table, as not identified as not speed related. But however, the collision 3 showed unsafe speed as an associated factor. So based on the description of the collisions and the vehicle speeds involved, it's most likely they contributed to collision. Yes, this criteria is met. going into from the first Public Safety Commission meeting, we had questions, and I wanted to provide you the responses to that. So some of the questions received, the three standout questions were, one is, we would like consideration of speed bump installation on other neighboring streets, Lakeland Road, Hermes Street, etc. That's well and good. However, this application is specific to Cecilia between Orenday and Fairford. For those streets to be considered, you would initiate the applicant, if they wish to do so, would submit an application. That would be individual process to start with that. Second question was, what about installing stop signs? The misnomer with a stop sign is that it's used to determine priority at the intersection, who got there first, that type of thing. Stop signs are not used to regulate speed. What they'll do is actually cause a higher speed because they'll come and stop. They got to make up for that stop time. They're going to get on it harder and go to the next segment. They're going to go faster, actually. So that's what we experience with that. We also using guidelines in there for stop sign install. We review traffic volume, ped and vehicle volumes, and any collision reported history. We're at the point now for the City Council consideration. So the request for the speed humps on Cecilia from Orenday to Fairford is now here before you for review based on our recommendation. And it's as follows. The first had the initial qualifying criteria satisfied. The second had to do with the petitions. The first was the original as part of the applicant process. That was satisfied based on the percentage. The additional petition submitted was deemed not satisfied because it didn't meet the criteria. The data collection component, it did meet the average daily traffic numbers. That's satisfied. 65% traveling above, satisfied on engineering judgment. Again, we do consult and contract with traffic engineer. And the reported collision history, again, that was satisfied based on engineering judgment. So for council, there are two options, and I thank you for your indulgence. This will be one more slide after this at the most for this two tops. Option one is to approve the install of the speed humps per the attached map. And that would be on Cecilia between Fairford and Orenday. 4 speed humps would be there. And on Orenday between Lakeland and Cecilia, 2 speed humps with appropriate signage. What appropriate signage is that you have advanced signage to tell people there's speed humps ahead, so you're just going to drive down the street and wondering, well, what just happened, that type of thing. And then you would recommendation also, the option is also to direct staff to collect before and after data. We recommend approximately 6 months after the installation to let it take effect, let the neighborhood soak that in, and people use it. The data we see and we observe is it's used as cut-through traffic. They're trying to avoid traffic further down. We're from getting from A to B in either direction. And we're looking to collect speed and volume data on Cecilia Street and Lakeland and determine if there are short-term impacts of the installation. Option 2 is a real short one. Deny the request of the speed humps on Cecilia between Orenday. I do want to add some information here. On the exhibit that I showed earlier, I said it again, but I said it there. I want to refer again, though, that the exhibit depicts the preliminary locations. There are other factors we looked at to ensure that where they're placed, they're proper. You don't want to put it like in front of somebody's driveway. We want to try to reduce parking, things like that. We want to have a safer driving experience instead of add more obstacle to actually degrade the driving experience. Fiscal impact, it's already available, but funding is available as part of the fiscal year budget approved. And the recommended action for you considered by staff is staff recommends City Council approve the installation of speed ups on Cecilia Street between Orenday and Fairford. That concludes my presentation, and I'll be most certainly happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Before council comments and questions, we do have some speaker cards here for item 18, and we'll begin with Rocky Orozco.
You're going to have to pardon me, it's past my bedtime. Good evening, Honorable Mayor, council members, and public safety. It seems to me that We are all for limiting the excessive speed that occurs daily on Cecilia Street and the potential risk of injury and possible death as a result. Whether it be in the form of speed humps as proposed, stop signs, and speed enforcement, something needs to be done. It is essential we put a stop to the excessive speed in order to avoid any hazards. Granted, any decision made will impact traffic on other streets. How much, I don't know. In the matter of cost, ask yourselves how much is a life worth? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker card is for Romel Garcia.
Mayor, council members, deputy city manager, city attorney, city manager, thank you. I am the one that started this whole thing 4 or 5 years ago. And I've lived on that street for 36 years, and it's not safe anymore. And it's not peaceful, and it's very hard to try to come home from work, rest, relax, wind down, when you hear these cars going up and down the street with music blasting, modified exhaust. And I know for a fact that the speed humps will stop all of that. Earlier today, I spoke to a lady who lives off of Dollison, where they installed the speed humps. I asked her, since then, have you saw a change for best? And she said, yes, no more racing. There was racing going down Dollison, parallels 5 freeway. And she says, also they were doing donuts, loud music, partying. She says, all that has stopped. And she says, now I'm able to walk feeling safe going down Dollison. So it's shown that speed humps do help to eliminate a lot of things where the sheriffs cannot be there 24/7 protecting us. Those speed humps will do a lot of good for us residents. I want to start out, well, I'm sorry, I should have mentioned this. This is on this Norwalk City website. It says staff recommends that the city council approve installation of speed humps on Cecilia Street between Oranday Road and Fairford, which I believe you had mentioned already on your presentation. And Ed Norris, who is the Deputy Director of Public Works for Downey, contacted me, and he said he has full support for these speed humps. He's done some studies, says you guys do need them for the amount of traffic that you guys have to deal with on Cecilia. The accidents have been very, very bad. Cars have been totaled. It's shown that speeding was the cause of that. Going northbound on Oranday, making a left west on Cecilia, there's been quite a few accidents right there. So bad where one guy said, I'm done, I've had it. I've had 2 cars damaged where they should have been totaled. He moved out, sold his house in 2 weeks, moved to Lancaster. A lady, or Thanksgiving last year, got hit getting stuff out of her car. She'll probably never be the same with her recoup, and I believe at her age, she's got hit as a result of speeding on Cecilia. If the speed humps were there, they would have stopped all of this. See, my time is up, but if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I'm here to answer. Thank you.
Next speaker I have here is Nima Alvarez.
Good evening, Mayor, Councilor. He started a petition. I've been a resident of Norwalk, which I love, for 28 years, and I seen the difference. And the person that he said that got hit, it was my next door neighbor on Thanksgiving Day. And you really understand, what is everybody doing on Thanksgiving? We're enjoying our meals, celebrating with our family. And I've been a witness of several, but this one just took the cake. I went outside and she was getting in her car and the car was where I'm at from the stop. It's not that close. I mean, it's close to my house, and how fast was he going for her to get hit and she's getting a hip replacement, this person. Last week, 3 cars got into an accident. Last week, my son's right there. He's a witness. And it was 3 cars damaged, and we witnessed this. I seen the difference. I mean, one day I came from work and I just started counting 50 cars within probably 20 minutes. It's just too much. I love my neighborhood, but I don't want to move. But I wish something could be done. Stop signs, speed bumps. I'll be satisfied. Like I said, I love Norwalk. 28 years. Thank you.
Thank you. That was all the speakers cards I have. So now bringing it back to the council for comments or questions.
I have a question or a comment.
Yes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Glenn, thank you for your presentation. A little too technical for me. I get the speed hump thing. This has been, I think we all know what speed humps and what they do and what they don't do. I know this issue was before us years ago. We brought it back. The council moved forward to give these residents an opportunity to petition the city for speed humps. Although there was some initial opposition from first responders saying it would delay their response time to communities and aid to residents. There were some other objections to the speed humps, but I think overall this council made the decision to at least give the benefit to the residents to decide if they want them. Right? You guys apply, you guys petition, you guys do the work. So I commend staff for moving forward on the pilot project off of Dollison. That was in a response to speeding, drag racing, collisions that ended up in Sarah Mendez Park on a number of occasions. But that also gave peace to the community through that pilot project that we funded last year and was implemented. And then I just ran into Mr. Cow during lunch accidentally, just coincidence. And I was excited to see that this is actually going to be the first petition before this governing body for potential approval on the speed hump policy. So there is a need. I see it. I actually went with the mayor of Downey, Mario Trujillo, to that area that borders Cecilia and Norwalk, and we walked that neighborhood because he was getting calls from residents in Downey that were being affected. And then I was also getting calls through either emails or correspondence. And I think we all got those. But I actually went out there and walked the area and saw for my eyes the need for it. But I'm glad that the residents took it in their hands to bring it forward to this council. It's a great thing. I have never heard anything negative about speed humps, except for maybe encroachment on the driveways of residents. But I think we can mitigate that by being mindful of where we place them. Just going around the neighborhood, there's a few areas that residents are looking at those applicants, like the ones before us, as role models to encourage them to go out there and petition the city. One is being looked at on Lakeland Road between Norwalk Boulevard and Pioneer, across from the Little Lake Park, which abuts the city of Santa Fe Springs. Similar to what Cecilia does abuts to Downing. It does impact our community with the cut through. With nowadays traffic, there's so many cars on the road. Ms. Vernola, the tow company, can attest to how many cars are on the road, impacting communities and neighborhoods, and just accidents left and right. But there is a need for speed humps. Is it good for every neighborhood? Probably not. I think it has to be looked at case by case, as it is before us today. Those are my comments. If there's no further comments, I'll move the item. for option one. I don't like options. Just approve it.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Council members Perez,
Aye.
Ramirez,
Aye.
Valencia,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Aella,
Aye.
Mayor Rios.
Aye. Okay, motion passes. Okay, we are now at our oral communications portion of the meeting, and I do have a speaker card here for Brian Tyndall.
Good evening, staff and council. I tried writing something this time instead of just freehanding because I always get home and forget what I was meaning to say. The best time to plant a tree was 30 years ago. The second best time is now. The fall is when trees are planted for the greatest chance of successful growth, which is in a few months. The city does have space to plant more trees. Staff can attest that the species of tree is just as important as when it's planted. You don't want to put a 100-foot pine tree in a 3-foot median. And so what I'm coming for you today, I emailed you guys a little short PowerPoint presentation as well. The current approved street trees that the city has on your website are not native. Native trees, as I've spoken before, are important for a lot of the wildlife and the pollinators that we have in this area. I received a tree list from West Coast Arborist and the city clerk. It's got many, many trees. I don't encourage you to go through that list. But only 1% of the live trees in the list are native to Norwalk. In the presentation that I gave you, it calls out castor bean, Bradford pear, and heavenly bamboo, which are all currently in the city. Many of those species are poisonous. Castor bean specifically, which you can find on all of the freeways, is used to make ricin, the stuff that you mail through the, not a good idea. That's in Norwalk. So also in that presentation is 3 species called out that would be great choices. They're drought tolerant. They're important to local pollinators. They are very pretty. They all produce flowers, which is nice for the city. And they require less maintenance. So I'm asking the council to take a look at the presentation, look at the current street tree approval list that we have, and amend that list to feature more native plants. Everything that I'm speaking about has started with the preface of trees. That's because they're longer lasting and they'll be here a while. But that intent also extends to other plants in the medians, shrubs, other landscaping choices that we can put into our parks. There's an entire website. I think I sent the link at the bottom of one of those pages to go to calscape.org, and they have spent a lot of my time there. They have, you can sort by shade or sun, drought tolerant, what color you want, anything like that. And so I just encourage the staff to look at amending our street tree list. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brian. You had me at trees. And with that, we are adjourned. Everyone have a safe rest of your week and nice evening. Thank you all for being here and participating. Appreciate you all.